Hello friends, good morning. We are really delighted and honored to have Sri Naveen Kumar Jaggi ji, who is the CEO of three-generation international law firm called Jaggi and Associates. And it's, I think, already crossed 100 years.
Yes, 101 years.
101 years of its existence, starting from Rawalpindi, or what is West Pakistan, West Punjab, now Pakistan. And there is a famous case of Shri Hari Singh,
Maharaja Hari Singh,
yes. Versus the Governor General of the state, which was about automobiles, and finally the case was won by his father. And I think that is a connection which he has with the Automobile Association of India, and is currently the president of the Automobile Association of India, Upper India as it is called, the old category of areas.
How the British, they never said Northern India.
Yes.
They started saying Northern India only in 47 onwards. If you see the old Delhi railway station,
Yes.
it's written Northern India, otherwise it was Upper India.
Yeah.
Because that time India was divided, India was divided into 4 categories. Right from Cape Comorin, Ceylon, up to the Deccan, it was called the Presidency of Madras.
Yeah.
And it was governed from Fort St. George. And above that was it was not Uttar Pradesh, United Provinces, governed from Lucknow. On the west, from the Fort, Bombay, and on the east, Fort St. William, Calcutta. And then from end of Iran, border of Iran, Afghanistan, right up to Burma, it was all Punjab.
Yeah.
So that is why at that point of time, Delhi was a village and Lahore was the epicenter. That's why in 1901, when Queen Victoria established the automobile associations of all over the countries where automobiles were there, the headquarters of Upper India were at Lahore. So only in 1947, the Pakistanis did not give us. Then 1950, the President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, upon the promulgation of the Constitution, directed that Upper India would have its headquarters at New Delhi.
Now, that is a very good example of insights from experience, insights from talking to a lot of people, studying, and meeting different people, different walks of life. Now, a lawyer has to understand practically every subject, I think.
Yes.
Today it could be about alcoholic drinks, and tomorrow it could be about LGBT and so on. And then a few other things about his career, that he has been very closely associated with a number of universities, with teaching, with over a dozen universities having internship programs with the firm.
73, sir.
73, yes. 73.
Law colleges and
so over a dozen is correct.
Yes, correct.
but
Yes,
it is
yes.
about 6 dozens. Now that's a lot. So that tells us that how he has given us his precious time to talk to the students, and in fact to the wider body of law students, because the practice of law is itself in the process of change now. And the international firms will start coming, inevitably.
Yes.
They will find their space also. That will have an impact.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, the profession is to some extent overcrowded also. So now, for discussing all these issues, MERI PLI, that is Professional Law Institute, has started a program called Legal Insights.
Yes.
And sir, today is the first episode for that.
I'm honored.
And we couldn't have had a better, more experienced people, more knowledgeable person, more noble soul, who can give it a start.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for the introduction. And before starting this podcast and this video, I would like to dedicate a quote to sir, a special quote
that I always used to preach before coming to the office.
Yes.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So that was the moment that why I initiated this legal insights. The reason was that you are the guru of a modern era. I consider you as a guru of a modern era because many of the students learn deeply new things also from you. So that's why I thought the inaugurating this session should be done from the guru of modern era, that is Jaggi Sayu. So I welcome you. Hold it hands, sir.
Thank you very much. ये ढोकला है क्योंकि ये डिसिप्लिन और पंक्चुअलिटी तो अभी तक नहीं सीखे. Today he was late and he gave me a cock and bull story कि मैं जू के बाहर हूँ, मेरा टायर पंक्चर हो गया. ठीक है, लेट होने का एक नया बहाना. But that apart, I am deeply honored to be here. I have the greatest respect, reverence, adulation and admiration for Mr. I.P. Agarwal, the patriarch of this MERI group of institutions, very ably now run by his son, Mr. Lalit Agarwal. And I'm equally honored to be among such a brilliant luminary as Mr. Rakesh Khurana, Ma'am Stuti Narula Markan, Professor Akhil Jetli, and not the least, I'm equally indebted and grateful to Ms. Shruti Singh and Ms. Preeti Singh. They'll both mind, because why do I mention Shruti Singh's name first? Are you going to mind? Forgive me for it. Thank you. I truly am honored to be here and I'm equally grateful to all of you. But my gratefulness and indebtedness will be seen how well you recorded this interview. I hope you'll do justice to a great personality like Mr. Khurana and Professor Akhil Jetli. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So before starting to this podcast or video, I would like to ask you one simple question, sir. Can you tell us about something in your law journey, that how you initiated your career into a law? Because this is a very usual question, but being from a family of such a great workout, I want to ask you a question, sir.
It's a very, very strange experience I'm going to share with you. My father was a fairly preoccupied, busy lawyer. I was his only son. I'm his only son. He's passed away. 13 of our family had been slaughtered while coming from Pakistan at the time of partition. He never wanted me to be a lawyer. He wanted me to be in the judicial service or the administrative service. And I was very highly placed. I cleared both. But my heart was only in the legal profession to carry on the legacy of my father. But even then it was touch and go. One fine evening, it just happened that 12 relatives, both from my father's side and my mother's side, happened to be at our place. We were refugees in 1947, but my father had been able to get a 4.5-acre koti, not purchased, on Pagdi for 2,500 rupees. This was 6 Alipur Road opposite Maiden's Hotel, that time one of the finest areas of Delhi, civil lines. And that evening, in the olden days, the culture was in the evening you sit in the lawn, open areas, there are no air conditioners and there are no coolers, and the family sat there. I played a trick. I brought my father's official chair in the center and I placed 6 chairs here and I placed 6 chairs there. And I pleaded and I cajoled my relatives from my mother's side, sit here. There were more relatives from my mother's side. And then I said, 6, sit here. 12 people sat there. And since I didn't now have the courage to call my father to sit there, I was able to request my sisters, unko yahan bithao. And when my father sat there, I said, look, give me a chance that I don't want to be in the judicial service, I don't want to be in the administrative service, I want to be a lawyer. Today, the family may decide whether I have any competence, any caliber, or any capability of being a lawyer. And lo and behold, destiny, providence, my father agreed. That morning, one of the relatives had presented a purse, small wallet to my younger sister. She was studying in Miranda College and she was to go there. She used to travel with the university special. She had left that wallet at home. And when I was, and forgotten. So I started questioning her. I said, you've not left the wallet at home. You've not forgotten where it is. You spent the money and hidden the wallet. And when that was there, I started cross-examining her, cross-questioning her that no, you've left it. She got so fed up, she said, yes, मैंने पैसे खर्च दिए और पर्स मैंने फेंक दिया. And that's the time, lo and behold, gile, I brought out the wallet and I said, look here. And I said, now do you think, does the jury, why I said 12 people, a jury comprised of 12 people, I said, look, is the jury in favor of that I am allowed to be a lawyer? Or I'm allowed to be, like what my father dictates? Because I talk of a time totally opposite to the times today. My generation could never ever say no to the parents. The father's diktat was the final. You had no say. The parents chose your career. The parents chose your marriage partner. Unlike today, I belong to the dinosaur age where we are afraid of our parents and now we are afraid of our children. But yes, the jury prevailed, my father agreed, and that's how I entered the very, very most noble profession, the profession of law as it was when I started. Law is a noble profession. Thou shalt not ever solicit. That has been the philosophy of my peers, my father, and we continue till date.
There is a great lesson in this history which Jaggi has described. So, Akhil, what else is your curiosity?
So one of my curiosities is whenever we used to intern with Sir and when we used to learn something new, Sir used to say always one thing: a lawyer must know everything about everything.
Yes.
Could you please elaborate this term, Sir? That how a person from a different aspect, supposedly a law or doctorate, engineer, or other profession, should relate to that a lawyer must know everything about everything.
No, this is a very important, Preeti and Shruti, you must also pay attention to this. You never know what kind of a case will come. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as being a specialist limited to only one branch of law. Today, to survive, you must know, you never know what kind of a case you'll have. So you must have knowledge of everything. My father was a very hard taskmaster. He would make me prepare a case. I'd be ready with the case. I'd be cross-examined, questioned. And in the morning, when I was to take that case, be ready to argue, that file would be missing. That file would be missing. And I'd say, my father would say, okay, ja, file aa jayegi.
The same training was given to me by Sir also.
Yes.
I was preparing for the one case whole night, and the second day, the next morning, he asked me to go to other court.
And when I went to the other court, I had no idea whether it was for the plaintiff, defendant, or anything. Within a few seconds, I had to make out. That is the kind of a training I learned, I was given from my father. And here, I'll take time to share a very important incident in my life. My Guruji at that time was Chaudhry Hans Raj Dhawan, a very eminent. He had a record of 95%. Lahore University, CPC. I mastered LLM, I scored 96. So it was his dream that I should do better than them. There was a case on Order 21. Order 21 of the Code of Civil Procedure, Act 5 of 1900 is the largest any provision of law. Over 100 subsections. My father prepared me for almost 6 weeks. I was prepared on this case, sir. 6 weeks I was prepared on this case thoroughly. And then one fine day, my father says, would you like to go to Bombay? My father being generous and letting me go, I had a lot of lady friends those days. I jumped at that idea. In my exuberance, I forgot that there must be a trick again. I was so blinded by my desire to go to Bombay. And he said, all right, I'll book you in the AC. That was the best train those days, was Deluxe. It had a chair car, right? And all the affluent, the boys and girls would converge at the dining car, and that's all you used to meet. Orthodox times. I was so blinded with my, joy and fervor that I lost sight that, look, there could be a trick. I prepared, I got different, telephones are a very big thing, sent postcard to all my friends, coming to Bombay, we'll stay here, enjoy this. Very well planned. And what happens? Then one day I find, my father says, go to Chaudhry Dhawan Sahab, Guruji, wo file pad ke aana. I said, right in the midst of this joy and bonhomie and what is this? He asked me 10, 20 questions again. And I stumbled on a few. He was very annoyed, made me repeat, reiterate, reaffirm, taught me again. The file was sent back. And be that as it may, I thought I'm going to be going and to enjoy their ticket book. When I land up at the station, what do I find? My Guruji coming there. One more thing. My gown and my coat were packed in a suitcase, separate, without my knowledge. And I was carrying my bag. When I was at the station, who do I see? The coolie carrying my bag. I recognize my bag, which had my coat and gown. And my Guruji Chaudhry Hamsa Dhawan. I said, Mar gaye. And I tried to do this. He said, those days, a Guru could say anything to you. Lafange idara. He called me a lafange. Al kya lucha hai? Dekh ke wahan ja raha hai? In Punjabi. I said, Mar gaya, my journey is spoiled. I said, okay, sir, milte hain. I said, tusi kithe ja rahe ho? Where are you going? He didn't tell me. And there I see. And what do I do when I enter the compartment? His seat is next to mine. All planned. All planned. And then what happens? I said, aap window seat le lo, because, the girl, nikalne ke liye, dining car ke liye jana tha. He said, main yahan baithunga, so that I couldn't come out. Made my life miserable. He just would, every time I would want to go, get out and go to the dining car, he just wouldn't let me do it. Baito. Started that Order 21 case. I said, where am I trapped? Right. Ultimately, I could not go to the dining car, and the two girls that we had planned in such a surreptitious way to meet in the dining car. They were cursing me, and when they passed that way, giving me dirty looks like you're a bloody ditcher and whatnot. And then when we land up at Bombay, I thought he's going to stay with his relative. He said, no, I'm staying in the same hotel. And we stay in the same hotel, and next morning, and he's making me prepare the case again. He did not let me go out where I had to go out. Next morning, he tells me कि मैंने भी जाना case के लिए. I said, I've come on a holiday. He said, what holiday? He opened my bag, gown, and what? He made a lightning call to my father कि ये मान नहीं रहा, ये तो घूमने जा रहा है. And my father fired me up. He said कि lightning call उस time 482 रुपए की या कितने की या 282 की थी. Very expensive. My father said, I'm going to cut this money out of your emoluments. तूने मेरे पैसे waste करा दिए कि lightning call कराई. क्यों नहीं मान रहा गुरु की बात? And then when I go there case, when I saw the list and I saw the case listed early, my heart sank. Even now when I remember my knees knocking against the podium. Whom was I to face? Mr. M.C. Setalwad and C.K. Daftari. Can you imagine?
The topmost lawyers.
Attorney General, Solicitor General, the topmost lawyers and Parsis, and a fantastic command of the English language. Where was I? And that very moment, it sunk in my head. My father had thrown the gauntlet at me. Throwing the gauntlet means throwing the challenge to see whether I was worth the salt. Because He knew my guru was very learned. My guru was very learned in law, but his accent was that of a Punjabi. He would call measure, mayer, player like this, and he would not be able to withstand the rhetoric, the verbosity of the English language of Mr. C.K. Daftari and M.C.C. Tilwat. Planned case, because my father knew that only son pampered by my mother, I would not go there. If I told this, I'd find some excuse. That was the kind of ruthless training that we were given. Sir, can you imagine the topmost? I was fortunate to come from the best school of the country at that time, so I had the command. And that's where I was able to procure an order favorable to the client, although I was extremely nervous. Command of the English language, knowledge which had been thrust into me, choked into me for over 6 weeks. Every in and out of Order 21, the case had nothing except on the execution. 2 brilliant minds, they tried to incisively scathe me with their minutest and the most precise arguments. I had to withstand that. It was like standing before a volcanic eruption. But I could stand the thing because of the training given. That's what a real lawyer is. I dare say, Mr. Professor Jetli, before he came to me, and now, there's a vast difference.
Thank you so much.
Of course, no, besides that Red Indian of a Cherokee hairstyle, that of course would not be permitted. But besides that, is, vastly improved. It's very important. These fine ladies are vastly improved.
Now that's...
I'm sorry if I go on it. Yes, let me share. No, sir.
Yeah.
I have 3 beautiful ladies at home. My wife and 2 daughters. They never let me speak. So, sir, मैं अपनी सारी भड़ास यहाँ निकाल लेता हूँ.
So
Sir,
whenever
please,
you
sir.
get
Please, sir.
No,
Please.
but we want to.
I hope,
Because such sessions are not just a theoretical repetition of certain terminologies and all that, right? One can say that, you have to work hard, you have to work smart, you have to work this, you have to work that. It's only through incidents that it is brought out that what is the meaning of legal training actually.
Yes.
And secondly, also command of language, whatever that language may be. And we have seen that some of the children who can't speak a couple of sentences properly, after training, they are able to fluently express their ideas. So this is one of those things. And they should not be afraid that, they are coming from a particular area and they don't have the command of language. And of course, the other aspects of, if you can get a good Guruji in a profession, that is the blessing.
That's very important. Yes.
So,
Yes.
more curiosity?
Yes, sir. I need to ask one more question, sir.
Yes.
I used to remember that you used to discuss the case about Giorgio Armani and Azim Khimji.
Not Azim Khimji, Ajit Ji Khimji.
Ajit Ji Khimji.
Ajit Ji Khimji, yes.
So could you please put light on that?
I'll need your forgiveness for a minute. There are 10, 11 law firms in this country, Tier A companies, who have the monopoly of international work. If they have some contract or some legal documentation, they are not able to have it in-house. The last person it comes to in this country is to me. At least that was still, I was actively right. Now, beggars can't be choosers. If I couldn't do it, it would go out of the country. But beggars can't be choosers, so I would ensure that stays in the country. There was one case where 4 million was involved. The law firm was going to get 40, they were charging 44 lakhs. 40 lakhs were there, 4 lakhs was my fee. And at that point of time, I was to go to their office. Naturally, you show up. I hired a car. I don't have a big car like that. They had swanky cars. So I hired a car. And I was to take 2 of my smartest juniors, one lady and one gentleman. But unfortunately or fortunately that day, we had a lot of cases. My next in command was a joint registrar retired, Mr. R.C. Nangia. He was a very, very efficient person, but he was very dogmatic. He sent both the lady and the gentleman to different courts. Now I'm waiting for them to come outside. I was to take them, but they were called. I couldn't call them up. So I stood outside the High Court on the road also, couldn't contact them. Ultimately, I asked the driver, I said, English aati hai? He says, yes. I said, chalo, munshi ban jao. ठीक है, I went there. वहाँ उनके office गए, huge office they have. They had 20 juniors and like all these law firms, they give Mont Blanc bags and everything. They take them back, of course, pens and everything. I was also carrying my Mont Blanc pen and everything. This guy, driver, chickened out. He said, मुझे तो good night or good morning आता है. I said, नहीं. No, he was well dressed in a safari suit. I said, अब चलना पड़ेगा. I'm not going to carry my own bag and everything. Convinced him that guy was more nervous than me. We went up there. They had a conference room. They had an ante room where we were to dictate. Like if it happened. Having coffee. I was in such a sour mood, such a bad mood, because the whole scenario that I had planned, that had flopped. And they were also, 4 lakhs for me, but 40 lakhs for them may be small money. But they were also tense why this is not happening. 1 cup of coffee, second cup of coffee, suddenly my mind was blank. Twice I tried to get up, let's say, then you have another cup of coffee like this. And then suddenly I got a spurt, that idea came to me. And instead of going to the ante room where I was to dictate, you see, our phones would be kept aside, no recording, they're on their computers, everything, so that I would not retain anything. That is a system which started with the advent of the World Trade Center when you had secretarial services. When I said, okay, dictation, they were in such a, everyone was in such a this thing, they forgot ki andar jana. And I dictated there. Strange. I did not know, sitting amongst the people, there's a long dining room, was one of the vice president of that client. He said, I accept the draft. I couldn't imagine. When he said, I accept the draft, he did this. Then he came up to me. I said, all right. He said, can I have your card? I said, no, I cannot, Mrs. Markan, know this. This is where it matters. I said, can you give me can I have your card? I said, no. I have an understanding with them. I cannot give you my card. He said, can I give you my card? I said, yes. Then I asked this lawyer. I said, shall I take his card? He said, no. I said, now I will take it. Because if you'd have said yes, I wouldn't have taken it. And now here is what I'm saying.
This is where your right ends.
Yes. I said, look, besides the moral right, I told you, let me draft the agreement between us. No, sir, you said no. If I would have drafted, I would have written, there shall be no exchange of cards. I shall not give you my card, present my card. You shall not present me your card. Neither my juniors, anybody, for the time that we have an understanding with them. You wrote only that I will not give my card. Ultimately, what happened? They came when the case was over. My agreement with them was over. I was invited by him at the Burj Al Khalifa. There's Giorgio Armani have their hotel and residences. 2 nights they kept me, one on the fountain side, one on this side, the Rotana side, and 1 night on Burj Al Arab. All free, all paid for because of this. That is what a lawyer, no other profession is going to give you that kind of a thing if you know this. If you know this. Yes. That is because, but then you have to be a real lawyer. You're not a lawyer who takes out, not a Google researcher and then become a lawyer. They respect you. And that was the time when at the Dubai airport, the business class and the first class ticket, the airport lounge had been changed. They had a massage parlor and a polished chair, first time there. All those benefits will come to you naturally.
While we are on the subject,
Yes.
and this tale is very, very interesting, it throws up a number of ideas of ethics also and work related and so on. What's broadly happening on the scene as far as international law is concerned and international law practice is concerned in, say, India or otherwise?
I think it's India's at the best. If we can have our lawyers, all our students coming up thinking that, look, law degree must be earned, not purchased. Yeah. If they think on those lines, there it is such a virgin territory you cannot imagine. The entire European Union is open to you. On my website, there are about 20 articles on all the 25, at that time, 25 European countries, their family laws. Wife Polish, husband Danish. How do they happen? There's so much litigation that it's a floodgate of money. It's on the door entry to Fort Knox, Reserve Bank of India. Look at England, getting out of the European Union, Brexit, without having to pay the compensation. There is so much. Then there's another branch of law, which is absolute virgin territory. Holiday laws. This corona, what it has created. People booking hotels. I mean, not allowed to come here. They want their money back. The hotel says, you did not come. Why should I pay you? I'd have booked somebody else. That litigation has now come up. 7 of the interns who are working on this, they've done pretty well just handling holiday laws. They are able to get the hotels, represent the hotels or represent the tourists there. That also becomes international law. International law plus national law plus domestic law plus a totally new entry holiday laws. If you ever feel like working, the two of you, you should look into those articles on holidays laws that I've written.
Yes. When he's referring to the two of them, young ladies, they are interns.
They interned with me, or I was their junior. They troubled me so much. No, but they are very good. They are very good ladies.